encumbered by people trading GBTC for profit, and we don't know their motivations or how many of them there are, but it definitely feels like it's running out. So because of all the things the SEC did, we didn't have approvals until now. And then you have Bitcoin locked into GBTC because they couldn't convert it to an ETF prior to the approval recently. So what happened was it was trading at a discount. So you have people trying to come in and arb that trade with the assumption that it will be converted. So you have a lot of capital that went into GBTC with the intention of just cashing out in fiat, not necessarily because they want a Bitcoin ETF or they want Bitcoin. So that had to get flushed out and converted. And also because GBTC has super high fees, people are also exiting if they can exit too. And I ran a calculation. I think if you're moving from GBTC at 1.5% into, pick one, Bitwise at 0.2, or even one of the ones at 0.25, you'll basically take a tax hit when you cash out of GBTC, but you'll recover in about 12 years time. So if your plan is to hold anywhere longer than 12 years, it makes sense to take that tax hit and move, because you'll benefit in the long run. So I think some of the flushing out of GBTC holdings in AUM is people that have done that same calculation and figured it out as well. So we have to kind of discount that, because when you're looking at markets and you're looking at macro analysis, you have to disregard the noise. And GBTC is largely noise. It's in the words of someone I know, not my words, it's a cursed product from a cursed company. So you have to kind of get rid of that curse first before we get to see the real action. But if you can see past the noise, then the signal is there. And the signal is you have a massive amount of accumulation on all the new 9. IBIT and Fidelity FBTC, they're raking in about 200 to 175 million per day on average on every trading day. And if you calculate that in BTC terms, that's about roughly almost 9,000 coins, and we're producing 900 a day. So you can see that it's not sustainable, and there is going to be a supply crunch because you have this massive amount of demand. But I think people don't see that because they're not seeing the price go up immediately. But Bitcoin seems to surprise a lot of people. It moves very quickly, and it does go up very quickly too. In the past, we've seen 20x in 9 months. And I think with this new source of demand, you can easily 20x in weeks.
So 20x from these price levels in weeks, what kind of price levels are we thinking at? Like if you had to like put a number on that?
Well, 20x from, we're basically almost at 50K. So 20x 50K is $1 million, right?
Right.
And if we get to 100K, which I think is very possible, then it's just 10x to 1 million. So these movements are just normal Bitcoin doing business. So it's not crazy that we can see Omega candles of 100K and we can see Bitcoin go up to 1M.
That would be wild. That would be extremely wild. I mean, like when you look at the amount of coins available on exchanges, I do understand where you're coming from, in terms of this like multiplier effect, and that there's just not that much Bitcoin available, like straight up. And you have all these major firms now having to buy Bitcoin to keep their ETF products at NAV. And yeah, it's just like one part of the market too, but it's now a major factor of demand that's now entered the market, right? And, Andre, I was curious, ETFs have like dominated the conversation in the United States. Is there a lot of chatter around where you are around these new products? And then maybe just get your thoughts overall on them. Do you think they're nonsense? What's your thoughts around them?
No, I think it was inevitable. It was to come for a long time. Samson is right. It does, I don't know. What's the word?
Melt faces?
No, I was more like institutions now look at it differently. But personally, and for Primavera, I really not my thing. Even the price of Bitcoin. One thing I've learned for the last 3 years is not to expect anything out of the price of Bitcoin. It always surprises you when it goes down, when it goes up. I don't know. I don't care. I'm here for the long term, and on the long term, I'm very, very bullish. I think it's it's gonna go way above the numbers, even the numbers that Samson is saying. We just don't know the exact time frame. But in the end, I think the most chatter that I've been listening to around me are actually the people who are not Bitcoiners. Some friends that I have that still deal with altcoins or don't, or are just trying to see if they make an investment in Bitcoin. They were all, oh my God, the FTX are coming, so it's going to blow up and I'm going to make a lot of money. But in the end, this is the fiat mind, right? They are, thinking about the dollar value of Bitcoin in the short term. So, for me, it's indifferent, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like it's we usually don't talk about price that much at Swan in general because we would rather focus on the technology. I mean, it took us a long time to even put up a price chart on our website because we didn't want people to think about the price so much. And Samson, you just tweeted something where you're like, looking at all these different indicators that are really close to all-time highs or that just trending upwards. Like it's up on the screen now with the hash rates near all-time highs, debt to GDP ratios. What were you kind of meaning by this tweet? I'd be curious, and then break down some of the things that you listed here.
Yeah, so I was chatting with somebody, or someone commented on my post, and he's saying, what are I think I said all indicators are pointing in a very bullish direction, and he asked what indicators. So I just broke it down for him and wrote down all those different things. But this is really what I look at when I'm trying to figure out where Bitcoin is going, and all of those things are going up. Hash rate is going through the roof, and I think you guys are contributing to some of that, right? With your new
Swan
mining, right? So it's your fault too. But the 200-week moving average, people kind of forget that, but it takes like a 10 sigma event to break the 200-week moving average, right? It's very uncommon that we dip below that, and that's trending upwards steadily. I think it's at 30 something now, but you have some crypto analysts saying, well, we're going to go to 20k, but that's far below 200-week moving average. So it would take some massive scandal, FTX level times 3 to push us down there, and I don't think that's possible at this point. Basically every indicator is signaling that people need to move out of fiat into Bitcoin, right? Like the debt GDP ratios, that's going up. The money printing is going up. The money supply is increasing. All of this stuff is increasing at the same time that Bitcoin is becoming more robust, more resilient, and we're getting the halving in less than 3 months now. So it's setting up for a very bullish takeoff of Bitcoin. And I think this is what's going to trigger that Omega candle that I've been talking about. But you've also been doing a lot of analysis as well. I think you posted about the ETF, so I'm curious to hear what you think.
Well, I think they're a big deal. I think they're just going to take time for the people who they're really meant for.